G'day everyone, and welcome back to Derriere Farms with me, Farmer J. Well, today we're going to take a look at how to set up a BGA using the Pumps and Hoses DLC. Now, I know people are going to say, but Jay, I saw your video yesterday, you're not a big fan of the DLC. And I still stand by that. I think and I'm not going to talk about the conversion rate, which is absolutely horrible because I paid a small fortune for it. But I stand by my initial assessment that I don't think the ability to spread manure using an umbilical system is worth almost the same price as the Platinum Edition that is coming out in November. However, there are people out there that will have purchased it and will be looking for guidance on how to use it. And that's why I'm making this video. That's the big part of this channel, is to help players out that want to learn how to do something. So that's why I thought we would take a look at how to set up today the BGA, and then we will take a look at how, now that I've figured it out, how the actual hoses system works in a separate video. Now it turns out that you can get it to work with an existing BGA, or even a modded BGA. It just needs to be able to recognize the manure source. And there are plenty of free BGAs on ModHub, and each map pretty much comes with its own BGA. So, the BGA system alone, apart from one thing which we'll go into, I think is really something that they could have adapted the base game BGAs to make them more useful and allowed them to be customizable as opposed to forcing you to, let's take a look at Oberon. I have a pretty extensive BGA over here. Why couldn't I modify that? That's question number one. But I can't. So, and you can't. Which is why we're going to look at setting up our own BGA. And at the same time, we're going to try and decide if there are any perks to setting it up. Alright, so I've been trying to figure out what's a good place on Oberon, same with Elm Creek, to set up a BGA. And based on the fact that this is flat land around here, and there's some free flat land around there, this will probably be one of the better areas to do it. Without losing, like I said in the video the other day, the objection I have to having to set up your own, or set up a BGA in this, is look at the amount of space this takes up. It takes up almost a field. Now I'm going to have to set up another BGA, or in theory, you might want to set up another BGA, just to take advantage of some of the features, because the gas burner, which we'll get into later, does not work with the existing BGA. So I figure, like I said, this is probably the best place to start. So let's begin. So, without further ado, let's begin. Most of what we need to set up our own BGA, and maybe I'm going to delete some of these trees first. Just to make sure that I have plenty of room. Good old lumberjack mod to the rescue. For those of you that haven't used the lumberjack mod, it's fantastic because it actually gets rid of the trees. Stumps and all, and you don't have to worry about a thing. And I say that just because I've seen a few comments in the forums about people, well, we'll have to zoom back, but You may see the trees reappear when you're at a certain LOD or distance level from where you deleted them, but trust me, once you save the game and you load back in, even those ghost images will be gone. Alright, so the first thing we need is we need to go into productions. Which is actually where you find the basic BGA's base game-wise. I'm just trying to do a comparison, so this is 875 and it's 250 kilowatts. Unfortunately, I don't think these ones tell you how many kilowatts they are. They just give you the radius of it. So I'm going to put down my first building here. Now, yes, we got rid of those trees. Okay, and it will tell us that, yeah, see what I mean? The ghost trees, they disappear. So it will tell us the root building has been put down, which is very handy. The next thing we need is we either need an Aginator, which basically provides electric power from methane, and we also need an input. Fermenter too far away from the feeding pipe. Now, there is one thing I don't like about these. Let's put this one in, and let's put this one in close to the road. Now, we have to remember to keep this type clear, because you're going to need a front-end loader to dump into it. You can, if you really want to, you can use this one, which is the DOB. I forget why it's called the DOB. I read that somewhere. And this has a loading ramp, which we're going to go with this one, just for ease of use. This one has a loading ramp, which you can lower. You can back up to it, and you can dump into it, kind of like you do. Okay. Now, you can add more than one if you want to. That's one advantage, but the problem is you're going to have only so many cycles per month, just like any other production, that it will process. And this fermenter, so it processes 3,800. And see, this is why I'm a little bit frustrated. The main BGA, the 1 megawatt processes double that amount. So you can come up to this, and you can open the gate, then you can back up, and you can start filling your BGA. And we'll get into that in a minute. All right. So we're going to leave that as is. We've got that. Now, where are we going to put our power generator? And see, these are almost as expensive. By the time you get into this, you're almost looking at the same price as buying the 1 megawatt BGA that comes with the base game map. Can I? No, I can't. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't tell me it's too far away if I put it across the other side of the road. Is there a certain distance? You know, let's put it here anyway, just to be safe. And the reason I'm going with the most expensive is I want to see if it will actually provide more Not really. No, it doesn't provide any more cycles per month for the BGA. It just converts methane into electricity at a higher rate than the smaller ones does. Okay. All right, now the next thing you need is you need somewhere to store your liquid manure or digestate. Overlaps with it. That one's way too big. There's a couple of different sizes. If we make a mistake, no big deal. This smallest one's just over 500,000 liters. I find I don't get to that point where I have more than 500,000 liters of anything in storage. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this one, which I think is the same as this one. But you're not paying for the cover. And you're paying a lot less. So we'll line that one up again with the road. Now we're going to do some landscaping in a little bit. All right, once you've got that in place, that's what we just placed, right? Is a liquid manure tank. $85,000. Yeah, they're all the same. Okay, I thought they were when I built my test one, and I wasn't sure. Now, to give credit where credit's due, I do like the looks of these tanks. There are none under silo extensions, so you can't place them near your cattle barn. You're basically stuck using the extension tanks that come with the base game. Like I said, I wish, because they take up the same radius, but they hold a lot more. So I wish they would have allowed for those to be placed near the cattle barns. The other thing we need is a gas torch. This will burn off and excess methane. And I guess it doesn't really matter how you place it or where you place it. Unfortunately, this is kind of decorative more than anything. You will see smoke coming out of it, but there's no massive flames or anything like that, which I won't say I was disappointed with, but okay. And the final part of the BGA is we need somewhere to act as a separator. And what the separator does is it takes out the solid parts of the manure or the digestate. And why can't I turn you around? There we go. Well, and that product can be used as bedding or as fertilizer for your fields. Now, it only holds 35,000 liters. This one holds 45,000 and takes up a lot more space. So again, depending on what you're doing, I don't know if it'll reach. I mean, it's going to allow me to put it over here, but I'm quite a distance away from... Well, we can always delete it if it doesn't work. But it's near a liquid or trigger. Let's put it here. All right, so we have our everything we need for our BGA to get up and running. Now, we just need products to put in it. So bear with me for a second while I go and get some product. Okay, so I'm back with a load of silage. Let's dump that in there. Oh, and I did a horrible backing up job. This is kind of why I like the other BGAs too, because they have that nice ramp. With the exception of the one on, what's the Swiss map called? Erlangrad. Now, I like to use bales. And it's filling, filling, filling. And it will keep filling. Let's add one more load of silage. Yes, I'm using the cheat tool, I know. But I don't have any cows on this map, which is why. So after this, assuming everything goes well, we should have about 115,000 liters worth of silage in the pit. All right, let's take a quick look at our BGA and see how it's performing. And we're back at the main menu. I only own, the main BGA on this map as a production chain. It's not one I play a lot of production chains on. But I've activated the fermenter, and you can see it is slowly loading silage into the building storage. I could place another... bear with me for a second. I could place another one of these. Like I said, you can have multiple placed around. It's just on how much room you have. And then you could load another product. What I'm going to go do, though, is I am going to load in a load of manure. And that should help speed up the process a little bit. Alright, here we are with a large delivery, a slightly unrealistic delivery of slurry. And I can't remember with this one, I think I need to open the covers. Yeah, but it should allow that slurry to be pumped into the BGA just the same way it does in your regular BGA. Now, while we're waiting for that, I did have a thought. Again, based on the fact that the input over there for either the manure or the silage is rather small. Actually, it didn't take a lot of my slurry either. But what I would probably do is keep using the regular BGA. I don't see any huge financial incentive to using this one, and then I would just stick the. And let's change this. I'll finish my sentence in a second. Digestate, done. Come on, there we go. Yeah, and then I would just unload the digestate from the regular BGA and haul it to one of these very large containers that you can place around the farm. I think these liquid tanks are probably the best thing about the DLC so far. Again, not saying it's worth it. I'm just saying it's probably what I like the most. Because they hold so much. Agreed, again, you can find free slurry/digestate tanks that hold a lot of capacity on Mod Hub. So, don't want to keep harping on the point. Apart from the hoses, you can pretty much do everything you want to do with either the existing BGAs off of Mod Hub without having to build your own using this DLC. Like I said, we're going to save the hoses for the next video because I did figure out, and I had to watch a couple of people's videos to figure out why I was having connector issues. And there's a trick to it. I apparently didn't have the right device selected. So stay tuned for that video. I'm just going to turn this off because, well, at the end of the day, what we're looking for is digestate. So, power plant. Do we have, we have 72 liters of methane. My torch is inactive. See, that's the advantage there. It let me pump 48,000 liters of slurry directly into the BGA. It's still slowly bringing in silage from the holding, I want to say the holding pit for the silage, but it's not bringing it in at a very high rate. So let me turn on. Okay, so my congregation plants are now running okay. Bunkers are running perfect. Fermenters, not all materials available. Well, you know what? I really don't feel like putting cut sugar beet in there. Cut sugar beet is far too valuable, especially with a sugar mill, that I'm not going to waste it on a BGA. Never have, never will. And why my torch is inactive, I don't know. I guess it depends on buy. Oh yes, I have buy inputs on. So, do we have to physically? That's the only thing I haven't done so far. Is do we have to physically turn on the torch, or will it turn on itself? I would have thought it would turn on itself. Your gas torch is inactive. Okay. Well, since I have the ability, I'm just going to buy to manure. And we'll get all, well, not all, but and see what it says. Okay, so not all materials are available. Again, not going to buy cut sugar beet because I don't believe in putting that in there. But everything else is running perfectly. And as soon as we have enough methane or excess methane, then I just looked it up in the help menu. That is when the torch will start burning off excess methane. So that's all there is to the BGA. Sound off in the comments and let me know whether you think the BGA is a worthwhile investment or whether you plan to just keep using the existing BGA. Or whether you plan on building your own. Like I said, I think one of the mistakes, and I posted this in the Giants forums, that I think they made with this add-on was not modifying the base game maps to be able to delete the existing BGAs. so that we could put our own specialized BGAs in, and now we've ended up with 2 BGAs on one map. The manure separator is turned on and it's working very slowly. And nowhere, unfortunately, does it tell me how quickly it is going to process. It's running, and we can see it working. Well, let me accelerate time for a little bit and we'll see if it builds up any. There we go, a couple hours have passed and we have 723 liters of separated manure. Is that a worthwhile feature? Again, I mean, the slurry separator doesn't have to be connected to the BGA. See, there's no hookup. It just has to be close to, and I don't see why you wouldn't be able to put it near either your cow barn. I have to try that. Or just a liquid manure tank in general, like we have here. So, again, sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think of the BGA plant, whether it's better than the base game one, or whether it was something that needed to be included. Thanks for watching. Take care, Jay.